I grew up and had no idea that I wanted to be a chef. I could start there. Growing up and even like through college, it didn't occur to me that being a chef was a career
Did you cook?
Trajectory. Yeah. I have like food memories of cooking when I'm 7 years old.
Okay, see, I have no food memories of cooking when I was 7, so that's unique.
I don't love being in an office every day. It's just not for everybody.
By the way, there's a lesson there. If you are associating with people, I got to this at one point in my career, and the people that you're associating with, if there's not anyone to look up to, you may want to find a different room. Hello, and welcome to Living Your Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Weimer, founder and CEO of Confluence Financial Partners, where our mission is to help people maximize their lives and shape their legacies. On this podcast, we will unpack the stories, strategies, and mindsets of individuals who are intentionally shaping their lives and the impact they leave behind. Learn what drives these individuals to push forward, to create, and to give back. Today we're here with Ezra Shapiro. Just let me give you some of Ezra's background. He's a chef. I should have said that. Chef Ezra Shapiro. Sorry, Ezra. Sort of I love this because you had an unconventional path to being a chef. Go to Penn State, get into the business world. You're like, okay, that's not it. You go into, you take a different path, you become a chef. You are the chef at a 3-star Michelin restaurant called Single Thread in California. And today, you go from that to you may be found tonight somewhere in Western Pennsylvania, creating a wonderful experience and becoming a private chef for 6 to 10 people. A lot in there. Why don't you go through a little bit and just give us a little background on how do you go to Penn State and end up becoming a chef? Like, what took you and what made you find that passion?
Sure, yeah. Thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
So Penn State, I grew up and had no idea that I wanted to be a chef. I could start there. Growing up and even like through college, it didn't occur to me that being a chef was a career
Did you cook?
Trajectory. Yeah. I have like food memories of cooking when I'm 7 years old.
Okay, see, I have no food memories of cooking when I was 7, so that's unique.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that's maybe that's unique.
Yeah.
I have a 6-inch all-clad stainless steel pan that I still have in my kitchen now, and I still use it every day, that I remember making scrambled eggs on when I was 6.
Yeah.
And I would stand like on a stool above my mom's stove. And she had this cool, it's called an aga. It's like this old wood-burning stove that's like made in France or something. I don't know. We had this in the house growing up, and I would make scrambled eggs on it.
Okay.
And we weren't like a huge, I don't have a huge cooking background, but we didn't really go out to eat when I was growing up, so we cooked a lot. I was home eating the majority of my life, and food was around. But being a chef wasn't something that nobody in my family is involved in this industry. None of my friends really were. And especially when I went to college, the people I'm friends with, they're lawyers or doctors or just in the general business world, in places like this, probably in financial services firms. One or two people that I know at all had some peripheral tie to the restaurant industry.
Yeah, we made that in college. You made those noodles that you just had water. What were they called?
Yeah, cup of noodles. At this point, I had no idea that I could even be a chef as something to do. So, I went to Penn State and I was an undecided major. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up majoring in economics, which is why I'm a chef now, which makes no sense at all. But economics, looking back on it, I do think it's applicable to anything. So I like that as a major for people who don't have a very specific skill set in mind or, exactly what they want to do.
If you're in business, you don't know what to do, major in accounting. That's enough said on that. That's my belief. Go ahead.
I would totally agree with that now. And I kind of got that accounting education later. So the first job I got out of school, at this point, chef is not on my mind at all.
Right.
I kind of just sort of went with the flow. Like I met somebody who was a guy probably, in the heart of his career, very successful. And I met him through a fraternity relationship. I was in a fraternity at Penn State. And he's, he had his own company. He was entrepreneurial, very small, but at a point where he was very established already. And And he was looking for somebody who was like young and hungry and didn't have to pay very much and just wanted to learn and could help him out with anything and everything in his business. So he hired me kind of on a long shot. And I still, to this day, I'm not as frequently in touch with him as I used to be, but I consider him in my life as an amazing mentor. Yeah. And I do reach out to him from time to time when I want to talk about things. I just respect everything about his life and business and family life and everything. Great guy. So I worked for him for 4 years, and I'm sure that going through that time, he manages a commercial real estate investment fund. Mostly high net worth individuals invest with him and or institutional partners. I think over the 4 years working with him, I got what I would consider far better than an education than even getting a master's program or anything like that. So eternally grateful to Gary and what I got to learn there. But at the end of the day, I kind of, after 4 years of doing it, I just thought, well, he's like totally financially independent. He's got a great career in life, and I can't really see like anything going better than what he has. So if I go on this trajectory, do I really want to end up where he is? And I kind of thought, well, I don't love being in an office every day. It's just not for everybody.
By the way, there's a lesson there. If you are associating with people, I got to this at one point in my career, and the people that you're associating with, if there's not anyone to look up to, you may want to find a different room, right? If you're looking at the people above you and you're like, yeah, but that's not what I aspire to be, then it could be the wrong room.
Yeah, completely. And on the same account, I don't want to take anything at all away from by anyone else's standards, and probably like most normal people entering the business world, this is an ideal situation.
Yeah, it just wasn't your thing.
It just wasn't for me. Exactly. And even leaving was hard because we had such a good relationship. Yeah. He was great. I got an amazing education, which now I use in my business life.
Sure.
So that was great. So from there, the catalyst for leaving him was that my friend's dad had this online wine retail business, and they needed somebody to do like analyst work and help out with a lot of things. It was past a startup, but that sort of venture. And so I went and I took the job before I could kind of like dig my teeth in too far with my former boss, to the point where I would feel like it was impossible to get out. So that was important to me. So I took this job. They sold the company to a private equity firm based in California, and they brought in this whole new management team, and I was good at the work I was given, doing very well, but I didn't get along with this new team of people, so to speak. And I'm not great at, I guess, like just biting my tongue and going to work and doing my job and doing what they want if I see something wrong, I usually say something. Mm-hmm. Or if I see something that can be done better, I say something. So anyway, after less than a year, this was very short-lived, they decided unexpectedly and against what they had previously told us that they were going to pick up the company and move it to California. And they laid off a ton of people. I wasn't one of them. They did a large round of layoffs, and then I'm still sitting there with my one friend on my team. And then they had a meeting with everyone who was remaining and said, hey, we're gonna move the company to California in 4 months. Basically none of you have jobs at the end of that 4 months at all. So I had a big thinking moment, and kind of like my brain kicked into gear on, well, okay, how am I going to handle this? They kept me for this, so they want me for this next 3 months. So obviously they see some value in me, and I thought about what to do, and I didn't want to be there. I'm not going to stick around and waste 3 months of my time for someone who's going to kick me out the door at the end of this, just so I can train their company, that I'm going to have nothing to do with in the future. So I negotiated a good severance package for myself, and then decided this seems like a good point where I have a little bit of money and I'm not, I have a huge career ahead of me and I don't know what, but I need to decide now. And this is a great time to do it because I don't have another job at the exact moment. So that's when I took that trip. I took a big trip by myself to South America. I flew to Lima, Peru, and what is now looking back on it.
And how long was the trip?
I was there for 2.5 or almost 3 months.
Yeah. So if there were one, how old were you?
27.
27.
Yeah.
So I was trying to put myself in dad mode.
Okay.
Right. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, so you're an analyst with real estate. You're an analyst with a wine company. I got an idea. Dad, I'm going to South America for 3 months. I would be like, or we could get another job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that was a pivotal moment for you. That trip.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I knew I didn't want to go back and get another office job immediately.
Right.
But I didn't, at the same time, I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
And it seems to me like this can happen to people, right? You could have got caught in the vortex of the next office job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the first job that you had, while the leader tended to be, it sounds like it was amazing. If you would have stayed there, you would have got caught in a vortex.
Yes.
And you would have never been willing to make the changes necessary to find your passion. And that happens a lot with people. And then they fast forward 20 years, they look back and go like, well, I didn't love that.
That's exactly the way I felt. I looked ahead into the future, sort of just in my mind, and thought, is this something I will have wanted to have done for the past 20 years, and or am I going to be happy with my day-to-day work at that point when I'm 47 or 50, whatever it is? Am I still going to be wanting to be doing this? And
so
I was like, I'm sure I don't want to do that.
So you were thinking differently than most 27-year-olds when you're saying like, okay, now if you were my son, I would be like, hey, the whole South America thing sounds nice. Can we just go for a walk on the trail and figure this out? Maybe let's go for a little walk. But you had the presence to say, wait, I got a vision. I don't know what it is, but I know when I'm 50 or 60 on this current path, I end up not being the Ezra I want to be.
Yeah.
So where did you learn when you were on this trip?
So I went on this trip and I was by myself. I did everything on a very shoestring budget. And I had a lot of time to think, basically, because I was by myself. So, I would meet people along the way and have come up with, good but very short-term relationships, traveling buddies for a day or two here and there. But I had a lot of time to think to myself, which I also think is incredibly valuable, just the time to think, because that doesn't really happen in today's world, I feel like. Even now that I'm back home, there's always something to do or,
For sure.
You're on your phone and it just takes over your brain, and having like a real extended period of time of say a couple months where you don't have to think about work and your everyday life, and you can just think about, more higher level concepts, like what do you want your life to be like, or whatever it is. That just doesn't occur very often.
Whether that means being like, okay, wait, what type of dad do I want to be?
Right.
Or it could be like, okay, if you're running a business, I see so many people running businesses, they don't take time to think about what they want their business to be or how they want to serve people. I mean, I spend at least half hour in the morning thinking every morning, just thinking about the business and where we're going. You had the ultimate 3 months to think about a lot of stuff. One, what do I want my life to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we still didn't make anything other than eggs.
No. I mean, I cooked
Right.
here and there, but yes, for the most part, no. So then on this trip, right away, I kind of I had been thinking instead of, okay, let's put office job aside. What else is there, right? And what do I like doing? Well, as a general thing, I like working with my hands and doing something physical. I don't like sitting all day. I want to, hopefully have a career where I can be active, so to speak, just physically. And being a chef seemed cool, but I didn't know so much about it. There's TV chefs are cool, whatever that means. But
any that motivated you?
The chefs, yes, absolutely. Now I have a long list, but at that point I was just dipping my toe into the water. So I got some books and started reading things. I read like a couple books on like the making of a chef, and I might have read one chef's autobiography. I think it was like Eric Ripert, who's the chef of Le Bernardin in New York City. It's a 3 Michelin star. Like, it's arguably one of the best restaurants in the entire world, and it's been that way for forever, and it's in Manhattan. And later in my life, I actually went and staged there. I worked there for a night, which was really a great experience. But so I'd read his, and I thought, well, this sounds like a really interesting thing that maybe I could get into.
Did you do this you started doing this on your trip?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think I read those 2 books like starting a day or 2 before I left and on the plane. And then by the time I had gotten down there, I had read those books, and then I wasn't really reading more on my trip, but it inspired me enough to at least sign up for cooking classes in different cities that I went to and do food tours in different cities that I went to. So whenever I'd get to a new city, like I started in Lima, I would sign up for a walking tour, which is usually free in every major city, and or if it was like in association with a food tour of the city. And it was fantastic. Like, I mean, just amazing way to see the city. And you walk into these food markets in South American cities, and we don't really have a great example of it like here in Pittsburgh, but you know, if you go to Europe, there's things like big wide open food halls with, you know, 40-foot ceilings and a million fruit and vegetable vendors. And in South America, it looks really raw and like sometimes dirty even. Like there's meat, chickens hanging, you know, everywhere. And it looks, you know, it's not in refrigeration, but it's exciting. And there's so much life and like color. And it was really exciting. So that became a big part of my trip. As I went from city to city, I would immediately just go seek out food activities to do. I can tell
when you speak about it, though, your passion for it. Like, I can tell you're like, you have a passion.
Yeah, and
I will say that, like, probably what I found in people, the more they study something, the more they learn about something, the more passionate they are about it.
That is exactly the case with me. I would say, yeah. And that's probably, I can't imagine how that would not be the case for anyone.
Right.
Because why would you continue to study something if you're not at least a little bit interested in it?
And things tend to get more interesting.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
So at the beginning of this, so as I'm going through this trip and I'm thinking, by the time I got back, I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to try this. I'm going to try it out. And I kind of did like just the way my brain operates is that I did like a sort of life risk analysis. I'll try this out for 1 month. I'll see if I can get a job somewhere low on the totem pole, just work and learn and see if I like it. Right. Exactly. Pay my dues. And if I don't like it, how can I get back to, at a minimum, where I was before? And it honestly didn't seem that hard. It seemed pretty doable. I hate this after a month. Okay, I could get another job in real estate. Sure. Right. I'll be back to where I started, and I'm still 28 years old. Not a lot has been lost here in the grand scheme of things. So, kind of with that in mind, I was like,
it's funny because you have that attitude at 28, like, hey, I'll figure it out. I'm investing a month. If it doesn't work, so many people, so many 20-somethings feel like they have to have their whole career figured out by, like, forget about 28. You'll find people that, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be at 18? What do you want to be grow up? And it's just putting so much pressure and let it evolve and just continue to learn and try different things and find your passion.
Yeah, totally. When I was growing up, it's like everybody in your life kind of tries to make you narrow down to something, and I don't know if that's even the best approach. When you're 18, you don't know the millions of different jobs there are in the world. You just can't, and there's so many different things you can do. You kind of sometimes just the people in your life influence you to take a certain path that doesn't have to be one specific thing like doctor, but it can be a sort of group of things like, well, this is the business world. Well, or this is the,
If you would have told me 15 years ago,
right?
I've been in the wealth management business since I was 20. But if you would have told me 15 years ago I'd have a wealth management firm, I'd have bet you any amount of money that wouldn't be true. It just wasn't money. It wasn't the direction I was headed.
Yeah.
At all. And you let it evolve, and now, thank goodness, I wouldn't have it any other way.
And now you're happy.
Right? So I love it.
So there was something there that made you, whether it was your own decision or
keep your eyes open to change. That's one of the things. As I listen to you, you're willing to take action.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. You're willing to make changes.
Right, and I didn't do it willy nilly. I was kind of, I'll just go work in a restaurant. I thought about it. If it doesn't work out,
Right.
I'll get back to here, and it'll be fine. So I did. I thought about going to culinary school, decided I'll work first, then decide, hey, okay, this is what it is. Do I like it? Yes. Should I go to culinary school, or should I just continue and work? And I chose continue to work because I found that I learn so much better. And I think really this is the case for 99% of the world, is you'll learn more in a work environment than you will in a school environment.
For sure.
Everyone to each his own. I'm
I get
not
it.
saying there's not value in school.
No,
but-
no, me either. Like,
Yeah.
like I look at it as like you go to the gym, it trains your muscles. You go to college, maybe it trains your brain on how to think. But so many people that come out of school thinking they're going to be a financial advisor, they learn way more work in here.
Right. Maybe you get a master's in business, but then you work here for 3 months and you're like, oh, this is what this
and then you learn
okay,
you learn
so
how to master business. Like it's so it's something different.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay, so you're learning along the way.
I'm learning along the way. And at this point, as soon as I got back from that trip, also like alongside my learning in a restaurant where I got a job through just a friend I knew, gave me a peel and potatoes job in a restaurant, but a nice one in Philadelphia. That's where I'm from. I'm reading all the time, everything.
I hope people are listening to that.
This is the most important thing. If I could give anyone who wants to do any sort of like skill or craft or trade job,
Or life.
really probably anything, just read everything and anything you can, and do the topic in your spare time. So I was cooking in my spare time, and I wasn't good at all. I mean, I made some. I have funny pictures of like food pics. I was like, oh wow, this looks good. I'll take a picture of it, and I look back at it now, and I'm like, that looks terrible.
Right.
I can't believe I took a picture
Right.
of that. Right. But yeah, so like reading, I was reading everything from chef biographies to tons of cookbooks, restaurateur biographies, how to open a restaurant books, like the business side of things, anything.
Let me
I
ask
get
you just not
my
to
hands
interrupt,
on.
but I think learning is so important. It's one of our core values. It's so important. Are you done learning?
Oh no, not even close.
That's it.
I don't
There
think
it is.
I don't think there's a close to
Me either.
I don't think there's an end.
No, I think when you start to deteriorate is when you think, I don't want to work with anyone that thinks they figured it out.
100% agree.
If someone thinks they figured it out, I find them boring. Like it's like, oh, we figured it out. Well,
If you figured it out already, then I'll just take what I can to know what you know, and then I'm done with you because you're done there.
I'll go right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead. So you're learning. I love that. So certainly
100%.
you were in the learning phase, but I love the fact that you continue to learn, and I think that's successful people. The people that stop learning, I think they're beginning to die. But go ahead.
Yeah.
So you're learning. So you're going from peeling potatoes.
Yeah. I'm working a lot, and my hours are different than they used to be, and I'm getting paid less, but I'm fine with it. It's enough money, whatever. But I'm working a lot, and I'm putting in a lot of effort to learn more at work too. So like there was a day when in this first kitchen that I worked at, I was there like 4.5, 5 hours before I was supposed to be there. And the chef wasn't even there yet. And he showed up and he's like, what the hell are you doing here, Ezzy? Like your shift doesn't start for 4 hours. And I was like, well, the pastry chef, I wanted to do the bread.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I didn't clock in and get paid for 4 hours, but I got to learn about sourdough.
Right.
This like
which
weird,
long-term
crazy
is more,
thing.
By the way, which long-term learning about sourdough is more than the $10 an hour times 4.
Oh, it's not even close.
Not close, right?
Yeah.
Like the value of the sourdough, I guess, versus $40.
Getting to handle like in the kitchen there's so much going on, and when you first start in the kitchen, when I was there, it's completely overwhelming. To anyone who's never worked in a restaurant before, there's a million things going on all around you, and you're so focused on just trying to do your one specific little task right. Everything is like going a million miles an hour around you. But you see this like huge, massive mountain of sourdough every day that grows on its own for some reason in the walk-in refrigerator overnight. And sometimes it grows too much and goes onto the floor.
Right.
And every day this woman is just shaping out loaves at a speed that you would not imagine it if you don't work in a restaurant. And they're coming out perfect, and they're going in and out of the oven right behind you, and the steam is like hitting you in the back while you're trying to cut something very particularly. And so I was very curious.
Yeah.
So, I would go in early and talk to her and say, hey, like, I don't know how to do this, but I'll help you do anything if you just let me work with you for a little and show me what you're doing. So I would measure dough balls while I got to then stand with her and ask her questions and stuff. And I'd ask her a lot of questions, probably to the point of being annoying. But incredible, she taught me a lot.
Right.
And as annoying as maybe I was, I think she appreciated it. Because now when people ask me questions while I'm trying to do something else as a chef and I'm managing them, I like it. It can be distracting, but I like it.
Well,
I like when
working with someone that wants to learn versus someone
that
that doesn't, like they don't want to ask you and they don't want to learn.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Put yourself around those people.
Yeah. So,
all right. So we've made 100%. Eggs, we've peeled potatoes, a little bit of sourdough.
You get a little more responsibility.
Yeah.
Every day at the restaurant, you're showing up early, you're working hard, you're doing your best, and you get a little more responsibility week after week. It's slow. It's really slow at first. That learning curve is like straight up trajectory, and it's really hard at first. But then, as you sort of learn how to operate in a kitchen and speak the language, and how to move around well, you get the learning curve is still very high, but you can handle more and more, day by day. And then they give you more responsibility and you learn more. And I fell in love with it. I didn't care at all that I was being paid $12 an hour.
Yep.
After just coming from an office job. I didn't, every night I would go home thinking about what I did that day and what I was going to do tomorrow and who could I go ask questions from, and I saw something and I want to learn more. And I was so excited about it. I was like, I think I could learn things in a kitchen, whether it's here or another kitchen, for the rest of my life and still not be done. Mm-hmm. And I was really excited about that. And I knew I don't want to make $12 an hour for the rest of my life. Right. Of course, that's something I think about, but it'll come with time. So I was hooked, and I stayed and loved it, and it brought me to another restaurant and another restaurant and another.
How many
restaurant.
Restaurants did you have in the sequence?
So in my career, I've now worked at five different restaurants.
Okay.
I've also been through stages. A stage is like not an internship exactly, but restaurants will, when you interview somewhere to work at a restaurant, they'll have you stage, which means you'll come in and have like a working day.
Okay.
So you'll have your sit down interview with whoever's hiring you, and you'll talk to them, and then if they like you, you can come and work for a day.
It's like you try out.
It's like a tryout. Yeah, exactly. You're not cooking a whole menu for them, to see if you know how to cook. They're seeing what your attitude is like and how you work. Are you clean? Are you organized? Are you easy to get along with? Things like this. And you work side by side with the chef or whoever's going to manage you. And then at the end of it, they talk to you, hey, we'll give you a job. Hey, this isn't really for you. And it's you interviewing the kitchen too, to see if it's a place where you would like to work. So that's what a stage is. And that's a big thing in the restaurant industry that happens everywhere.
Yep.
So I would do these whenever I could from time to time, even if I wasn't really trying to get a job. I would kind of just maybe a little white lie or, just if I had a connection and just be honest with them and they were cool with having a stage who didn't really want a job. But I've been in probably, I'd say about 20 kitchens.
Okay.
So 15 of those I never actually ended up working in, but some fantastic places around the world. That even just being there for a night or a week for a stage, I learned a lot.
How do you go from being, the guy learning to being the chef? Like, how do you make that jump?
That's a great question. I guess you get to a certain point where you know enough of your actual skill. So you're developing a skill at first. Just like the craft of, there's so many things that go into cooking technically. So I think you get to a certain point of that where you know more than the majority of other people. You don't have to know everything. Nobody expects you to know everything when you become a manager in a kitchen.
But so how long from when you were going to the, peeling potatoes to when you were working at single thread?
So that would be, I think that's about 5 years, 4 years.
So not that long.
No. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, no, absolutely not.
Because single thread, you want to explain? It's a 3-star Michelin restaurant.
Yeah. Single thread is it's in Sonoma County in California,
Right.
right in the middle of wine country. They are a hotel, restaurant, and farm, all under the same ownership umbrella. The farm is 8 minutes away from the restaurant, which is an uber fine dining luxury. I don't want to use price to explain how fantastic this place is, but just for a general sense of people, it's $500 a person. This is a special occasion type of dinner. And then they have a boutique 4-room hotel in the same building above the restaurant. And if you stay in the hotel for $1,000 a night, you get dinner in the restaurant. You can also get dinner by the same chef team as room service, a very special experience. And this is like the peak of, anything in the world hospitality goes. The place it's really like they take a lot of influence from Japanese customs of hospitality, and they translate it to an American audience.
So this is the pinnacle.
Extremely well. This is they're on every list of accolade that there is in the world. They're 3 Michelin stars. They're on the world's 50 best list. They're tied for the number 1 spot on La Liste, which is like a comparable French-based, sort of ranking of restaurants in the world. And it's incredible. And they're not there's a lot of things I love about it, but they're not doing what they do there to be on these lists. It's just sort of a factor of, we do things this way, and people have noticed. But they're not one of these places where they're competitively trying to just reach these lists. And I like that about them. They're doing things for what I think of as the right
First,
reasons.
be the best, and then you will be first.
Yeah,
be the best.
That's a great way to put it.
First, be the best, then you'll be first.
Yeah.
Just do your job. So how long? Just do your job.
Yeah, that's the Bill Belichick thing.
Yeah,
I
do your
love
job.
that. Yeah.
So, how long were you there?
So only a little bit less than a year. And I would have stayed maybe forever. I don't know forever.
Right.
But a long
My
time.
guess is you would. But yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't stay forever, but
right.
I wasn't really ready to leave yet. And that was a huge, sort of decision and transition point in my life and career, was making the decision to leave. I loved it there, learning every day so much. And not just learning, but it's a huge team. There's 80 people who service about 75 guests a night. So compared to a normal restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have 70 people, like kitchen.
Yeah, it's about half and half front of house and back of house.
house.
So about 40 kitchen staff and about 40 front of house staff who are dealing directly with the guests.
Wow. Okay.
But the difference between like that restaurant and, a very nice restaurant that's maybe in Pittsburgh, but not at that sort of uber fine dining level and price point, is that everyone there it's nobody's like side job. Like, this is where we go to make money, but really I'm an artist.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Right.
Which is very common in the restaurant
right.
industry. Everyone there is a hospitality professional, right? And everyone there has made a decision to go there, especially there because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like, nobody lives in Healdsburg unless you're one of the 200 people who grew up on a farm there. So people have traveled to be there and work there for a reason. And so you're surrounded by a team of people,
now, do people come
who
to a
are
place
so
like
excited.
that to train and go elsewhere? Or do people come there because they want to stay there because it's the pinnacle?
I think a little of both.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. When I set out there, I didn't have one or the other in mind. I liked both aspects of it. I'm going to go there because I know I'll learn. I know I'll be surrounded around by people who are better than me and I can learn from. And it looks like a fantastic place that I could work long term if that's how it goes. I didn't sign up there to put it on my resume.
I think that's a great
so to
attitude
speak.
because, including my son when he came here and some other people I've talked about in their career, if you're going somewhere with the intention of leaving, you've already left. So you know what I mean? So you have to go there with the intention of, I could stay here forever. If life happens that you end up leaving and that's different. But I think if you go somewhere and you're only looking at it as a stepping stone, I don't think you ever give it the commitment you need.
Yeah, and so for me, like, this place kind of was, you used the word pinnacle, but it kind of is like that. Like, I would totally be happy just working there. It's a great place. Maybe, down the road I'd want to fulfill other things in my life, like being an owner of something, and that wouldn't be available in that respect. But As far, I could be there long term, and I didn't set out like this is a stepping stone.
And
I
you
set
left
out-
because?
I left because, in very short terms, family decision. My wife got pregnant with our first child.
Wonderful. Yep.
Yeah, so unexpectedly, and that was a big deal for me. People, that made me so nervous. I don't come from a big family. I think I had even seen up close or touched a baby once in my entire life.
It's so funny, walking through
this point
South
in my
America, changing out, going out, no big deal. Baby? What?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I can do this. I don't know anything about babies. But walking around South America, I lost my credit card and didn't have any money for 2 weeks in Argentina. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Baby?
I don't care.
Diaper?
Baby? This seems above my head. Yeah. So now looking back on it, very happy I made this decision, which was to listen to my wife, and we need to be near family.
Right.
And now my son is 3 years old and we have another kid, but so happy that we moved back to be around family, because having a kid is over my head, and it still is. I'm good at it now, but when they're really little, the family support system is unbelievable. And I figured out a way to still do what I love to do and cook. But if we had stayed in Sonoma County in California, we were living I had us living in a studio apartment above somebody else's garage,
Right.
and their cars are coming in and out, and it's not our house. And it's no place to have a baby, and I'm working minimum 60 hours a week, gone for 12 hours at a time every day.
Having a family, when you say I remember the support system so important. I remember when we have 4 children. The last were twins, so we have 2 twins. We have twins. I don't think you need to say 2. We have twins. And I remember my mom and dad lived in Johnstown, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna get going." It would be 6 o'clock. I'm like, I guess we looked okay. We weren't okay. It was no. They go to bed at 9. Hang in. And those 3 hours from 6 to 9 were as long as all get out, right? So so having the support system is key. So you come back to Pittsburgh for that support system.
Yeah.
And then I love your current business. Michelin 3-star, cool. I love your current business. Do you want to just talk about? I love it.
So what I do now is basically that sort of level of fine dining doesn't exist in Pittsburgh, and it's not because there isn't talent here. There isn't nearly as big of a food scene here. So it just hasn't made its way from New York to Philly to Pittsburgh, and I think it'll get there eventually. But it's not a food city like that. So
for burgers.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love burgers.
Well, I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
My last meal would be a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Even though I know how to cook, fish with scales on it, in the most complicated way that I couldn't even get into explaining to a normal person. They'd think I was a lunatic.
Right.
But yeah, cheeseburger.
Yep.
For sure. But so, I didn't see a restaurant or another path in the hospitality industry in Pittsburgh where I would be learning a lot and challenging myself every day. So I kind of took it into my own hands, I guess, so to speak, and decided, well, I'll work for myself and create that since it doesn't exist for me. So I started being a private chef after a little bit of work being a chef here at a nice restaurant in Pittsburgh, Morcia, shout out to them. Fantastic place in Lawrenceville. But so being a private chef now, I do private events for special occasions in people's homes or in an event rental space. And it's completely personalized and unique experience that you can have anywhere from 4 or 6 guests up to about 20. And I have staff with me for a little bigger events, but the smaller ones I do by myself. And we come up with a completely personalized experience for you and your guests. So it's your husband's 50th birthday party. You hire me. We build a menu that's going to blow your husband's mind. Exactly what he wants to eat. I have experience doing a lot of different cuisines, So, and I like the challenge of doing new cuisines. And I can kind of, I go to my sort of R&D board and write a menu based on what will make you guys have the best time ever.
Okay, just so, because I don't want people to tune out saying like, oh, private chef, that sounds crazy. We do it all the time as a family, and I'll get into that. That's why I'm a raving fan. We, in Florida, were with mom, dad, siblings, their spouses, brought in a private chef. There is zero chance, cumulative zero, that we could have had the same experience that if we went out to eat. When we go on vacation as a family, multiple nights, 3 or 4 nights, we bring in a chef. Kids get to stay in the pool until it's time to eat. It's wonderful. And tell us how much more expensive it is than going out to a really nice restaurant.
It's not.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah. So I'm not, people aren't necessarily going to hire me I'm not going to, you hear private chef, I'm not going to come over on a Wednesday night and cook you a regular family dinner. That would be more expensive.
I get it.
But for a special occasion, when you're going to go out to a restaurant where you might rent out a room, or, you're going to spend a lot of upcharged money on wine service, you're going to end up net even saving money on an experience with me with, an upfront price tag of $150 a person. Might seem like a lot, but when you go out to a nice restaurant.
Mom's 80th birthday.
Right. For your mom's 80th birthday, what do you spend on a bottle of wine at a nice steakhouse downtown?
Right. Or how are you going to get a table at a restaurant?
How do you get a table for 14 people?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I just think the moments that we've had by bringing in private chefs. Now, do we do it every night? No. Do we do it on Wednesday night for dinner? No.
Right.
Point well taken. But if you do it 4 times a year for very, very special occasions, I found it to be a great experience that we talk a lot about legacy in here that really does. They're memories. Like it creates the legacy. The videos that we have of my mom and dad and siblings singing Sweet Caroline or Narla Nye with the chef in Naples, in my mind, that's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. We wouldn't have had that experience. What do you love about it? So like when you deal with these families, like tell me, I have a thought and just hearing you, but it feels like you've connected some dots with this new business.
Yeah, for sure. So this differs from being in a restaurant in that, and something that I love about it now, that I've been doing it for a little while, is that I'm very up close and personal with the actual guests who are on the receiving end of the food I make. So I'm not just a chef in a basement cooking food that I'll never see again once I make sure that the plate is perfect. Now I make sure the plate is perfect, and then I hand it right to someone, and I watch their eyes light up, and I watch them eat it, and then I watch them look at their friend and go, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah.
And they appreciate it, and you see it. The immediate results,
right?
Which is great. Like, what other business do you get that in? So that's exciting, and now I'm starting to build regular clients who are happy to see me again. I'm happy to see them again. We talk about things. I know what they like to eat. I know, what their kind of parties like to feel like, and I can just make their experience better and better and better every time I go back. And I like to see them. It's like a fun part of it. It has added a whole new element to being a chef.
Yeah.
Than
I think
just
I told
making
you,
food.
For the last several years, we went to 30A on vacation with our kids, and it was great. And there's a certain chef and his wife that they came over the last couple of years. And when we were leaving, we knew we weren't coming back to 30A next year. And they were like, "We'll see you." And I think, dang, like one of the things I'm going to miss about not going this year is those two people.
Right.
Like they were, you know what I mean? They got to know us. We got to know them. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was great. So you actually have a relationship.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it. The chef doesn't really get to see the satisfaction.
Right. Depending on what kind of restaurant you work in, how it's set up physically, where the kitchen is in front of the guests, determines a lot of that. But a lot of restaurants, you never see that immediate, whether you did well or not.
Right.
Which is nice. And it's satisfying to know that I've made people happy immediately, but also at the end of the night, I can very physically witness firsthand that I've created a memory and something special for people.
Right.
Which is incredibly satisfying for me.
They're the dots I thought you may connect, right? You're about family, you're about relationships. Even when you were walking for those 3 months in South America, you would have short-term relationships, and you pointed that out. Yeah. And here you are, you're coming back, and you're matching your passion for food with the relationship and families.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you were walking around when you were 27. Is this what you thought you'd be doing?
Oh my God, no.
No.
I had no idea.
No.
At then I just thought it was cool to be a chef. I'm going to learn how to cook. Right. I'm going to learn how to cook, and I'm going to be totally like food independent.
Right.
No, I can do this now. Like I have a real skill.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's for now.
Nothing.
All right. So where do you see yourself? You're a person that thinks like. So where do you see yourself in 20 years? When you look back, where do you think you'll be in 20 years? Where do you look forward?
Like career-wise, I'd like to still be cooking. I don't ever want to be a type of chef who is like a sort of passive income chef who's not physically there and doing real cooking work every day. Like I like peeling potatoes. It's enjoyable. It's like a Zen activity for me to skim stock perfectly. Think little things like that. So I like the physical tasks of it, which is great because that's day-to-day work. So I want to be doing that in 20 years in whatever sort of application that might be, whether it's a private chef in people's homes or if it's in a restaurant again or if it's in something else that I haven't thought of yet.
So you said something about ownership earlier. Do you see yourself owning a restaurant?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if there's a way to bring them together where you have a restaurant where the chef has more of a connection with the tables.
Yeah. So there is, and this actually was something I learned at one of the in-between restaurants where I worked at in Philadelphia. It's a place called Hiroki, and it's a high-end Japanese omakase restaurant. So that omakase, Japanese word for like a tasting menu. The chef sets the menu, you come in and you get that, right? You don't choose off of a menu what you'd like. But what's important about it is that it's a chef's counter. So there are 12 seats, and the chef is standing right behind it. It's like the size of a kitchen counter, me to you right now. And he hands you every bite of food, and you can talk to them, and you can watch exactly what they're doing. And you can see them as they react through every single bite that they take throughout the night. So that sort of introduced me more to like experiential dining and getting that satisfaction of seeing somebody's eyes light up when you've done your job well. Right.
So it's such a big part of me. It's like, okay, let's go do it. I'm in. Right. I'll do it with you. But I'm continually reminded that the quickest way to lose money is getting into that business when you don't know what you're doing. I have
some strong opinions on that.
Yeah,
too,
right. So that already does exist.
Yeah. So things like this do exist in a lot of forms. Not so much in Pittsburgh, which maybe is just opportunity awaiting, but around the world, things like this exist very much so, where I can still manage that relationship part of my job, which I love, and not just be a chef in a basement cooking.
Okay, so when we look back, you've had such an interesting road. If you could boil it down to 3 moments or 3 things, and you go like, "Dang, I'm glad that happened." What were the 3?
In my life?
Yeah. Like that shaped who you are today.
Definitely taking that trip.
Yep.
To anyone like considering travel, whether you're alone or with somebody else, 100% of me thinks that you should do this, and this will be a valuable life experience in some form or another that you will never forget. It's like a truly once-in-a-lifetime experience to just go travel anywhere, I'd say internationally, outside of...
and for those people that don't want to take 3
culture.
months, and
right.
I do think seeing different cultures, when you travel into different parts of the world, it just expands your vision, expands your view. I think it changes perspectives dramatically.
Absolutely. Okay, that's the most important part of it. It changed my perspective on things, seeing a different culture.
I remember you saying to me you saw people that had little be very, very happy.
Yeah. That was a huge part of being down there and kind of shifting my perspective. Exactly.
Right.
Like, I grew up in one culture in one class, and maybe you don't want to say it, but everyone kind of grows up like in a bubble in America, whatever your specific bubble is. And when you go somewhere to East Asia or the Middle East or South America, things are so unbelievably different that it changes your perspective. And you say, oh, life can actually be like this?
Get out of your neighborhood.
I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, even for a little bit. Like, I'm not, like, in the United States, like, just change, like, get a greater perspective of what's going on in the country and the world. Okay, 100%. That's one.
So any travel, short or long, it's worth it. So that would be one. And then, two, I'd say just becoming, honestly, changing my career path to being something that I enjoyed. And sticking with it. I mean, sticking with it has been no problem at all because I'm so excited about it all the time, but making that decision to actually do that and not just fall back on something.
Don't get caught in the vortex.
Right, vortex, like you said. Like I could have, taken this trip and thought about things and then just taken up cooking as a hobby or something and gone back to real estate. But I'm so happy now that I took that step to actually get into something that I would enjoy for the rest of my life. So that, great. That would be the second most probably important thing, I'd say. And a third one, now I'm really happy and I feel like I'm in like the middle of this like career and I don't have to worry about making decisions about what to do with my life. And now I can kind of enjoy it. And I'd say like family is the third thing, that's most important to me. Like just being with my wife and having kids now, it's like, I don't know, this is like corny or cliche to say, but I'm so proud of my 3-year-old son and I want to show him that all the things that you and I have just talked about, like how important learning about different perspectives are in the world and like finding a path that you're excited about, that you can do. Like everyone has to, I want to show my 3-year-old son that you're going to work from, ages 18 to whatever, 70. That's the majority of your life. Don't spend that doing something that you don't enjoy. So I'm so happy about having a family and my wife is incredible and she supports me in all of this and she supports that I am sort of, have these values, which are a little bit, kind of out there in terms of the norms of, what people go through in life. But she likes that I, teach my son how to cook, and he doesn't know. He holds a little plastic knife, but like it's fun. Right. We're doing something physical and we're doing something together, and that's important. And he doesn't have to be a chef, but just that he's, we're exposing him to things that, aren't the typical like this for this culture that we live in.
Yeah. Your journey I find fascinating, and while I'm not sure we have a big percentage of the folks listening maybe aspire to become a chef, as I'm listening to you, regardless of what passion you're trying to find, whether it's an athlete, chef, business person, dad, your blueprint is chock full of lessons and of tidbits that I think the listeners can learn from. So I love that you're willing to take action. I love that you're looking for something passionate. I love that you continually learn. I love that you're creating the legacy. Hearing you talk about your son, and I got to tell you, I know your children it's hard to explain. I know it's corny, but every day truly does get better. There was never a period in my life that I didn't wish I could freeze my children at their current ages. That's true today, by the way. So I love your passion. I've learned a lot. And I just thank you so much for the conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I mean, it felt like an easy conversation. And yeah, the passion thing and enjoying what you do every day is, I think it's the most important thing.
I can't wait to have you over to the house to make some fabulous meals for our guests.
Well, I can't wait to serve you. We'll come up with something that you love. I didn't even ask you what you like to eat.
Pizza.
Pizza? We can have a pizza.
No, my guess is your ideas on food are better than mine. I'd defer. So Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you too. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening today. If you found today's episode interesting, please follow us on your favorite platform, write a review, or share it with a friend. Together, we will work to continue to live our legacy.